Fulton off today. He's not getting married, but he is attending a wedding down in Wichita. So we got so much to get to on this edition of Mic'd Up. Royals baseball coming at you tonight. Can Zach Greinke actually pitch well on the road? We will get to that. We are going to talk all things Royals baseball with Matt Lamar of Royals Review. We'll get his thoughts on actually some positives. We're going to talk about some positives when it comes to the Kansas City Royals here on a Friday. We're going to talk plenty of Chiefs. Is MVS underrated? That's right. Is MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, underrated? Do we need to give him a little bit more love than what we've been doing? So we will get to that. We will also discuss, as a friend of the show, Eric Eager, put out something interesting, with this new AI stuff. They're coming up with the greatest football teams since the turn of the century. Where do the Chiefs rank? And where do you put the 5 Patrick Mahomes-led football teams for the Kansas City Chiefs? Where do they go? Who's the best team? Second, third, fourth? We will go into all of that. We'll get to our list. And tomorrow is the Preakness there in Baltimore. We will bring back on our horse racing expert, Andy Weingarten, to talk about the Preakness coming up today. So we got a lot to get to leading into 580 Sports Talk and Royals baseball as they take on the Chicago White Sox. As always, hit us up on our text line, 785-272-9429. Let us know your thoughts on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits phone line, 785-272-9429. Would love to get your thoughts today on this overcast and rainy Friday here on 580 WIBW. There are a couple things right now. Here's the question I have for you. Can the Royals actually have a 500 or winning month in the month of May? And the reason why I bring this up, it's very, very simple. The Kansas City Royals right now are 7-9 in the month of May. After taking 2 of 3 from the Padres, they took 3 of 4 from the White Sox. Can they end up with a winning month? They are 7-9. Here's what they got the rest of the month. It is May the 19th. So they got 3 games against the White Sox. They just took 3 of 4 against the White Sox. They have 3 against Detroit. They have not played Detroit yet this year, which is wild because they're in their division, but they have not played Detroit yet this year. Then they play 3 against Washington. And then they've got 2 games against St. Louis. That is what we like to call not murderer's row for the Kansas City Royals. So the Tigers are 19-22, so under 500. We know the White Sox are well under 500. In fact, they're just 2 games up on the Royals. Washington is right now the worst team in the National League. And the second worst team in the National League is the Cardinals. Although they're playing much better recently, they are now 8-2 in their last 10. And Nolan Arenado is back to being Nolan Arenado. Anyways, so that's what the Royals have. They've got 3 against the Sox, 3 against the Tigers, 3 against Washington, and 2 against St. Louis. That is a total of 11 games the rest of this month. They are 7-9. So if they go 7-4 over these next 11, that means the Royals would end up with a winning month and go 14-13. If they go 6-5, they would end up 13-14. So can they go 7-4 against these 4 teams? You'd like to think they can take 2 of 3 from the White Sox. You'd like to think they can take 2 of 3 from Washington. So right there in 4 games, they are 4-2. They've got 5 games left. So if they take the series against the White Sox, take the series against the against the Nationals. They're going to be 4-2. So they got 5 games left. Can they find a way, if they win 2 games against Detroit and split with the Cardinals? There's your 7 games. I don't think it is. I do. I think it is doable, which is kind of fun. Kind of fun. It really, really has. So the Royals actually have a stretch of baseball that is doable. And right now, the Royals are actually playing like a competitive and, dare I say, entertaining team. And if you really think about it, the last 25 games, the Royals have actually been competitive, but also at least they're entertaining. If you're going to be bad, have some flair about it. If you're going to be bad, at least be interesting, right? Like the worst thing that you can have, let's say you're going on a first date. All right, at least be interesting or entertaining. All right? Even if it's terrible, it's absolutely terrible. Be interesting. Oh, this is going nowhere, but at least keep me interested. And that's what the Royals have done the last 25 games. Their last 25 games, the Royals are 10-15. Is that great baseball? No, it's not. It's semi-competitive. It's not 500, but it's close to 500. But they're averaging almost 5 runs a game in those 25 games. If you're scoring 5 runs a game, you're at least going to be in every game. Thus, every game will at least be entertaining. We've talked about this, and Fulton is more on the wins and losses side than I am because I really don't care because the Royals are not going to be in the mix of anything. I just want guys to be developed, try a few things like doing the opener with Carlos Hernandez, give him a chance at doing that. Play all the guys who need to be playing. I can't wait till Drew Waters comes up. Then we see less of Nate Eaton, less of JBJ, more part of the future. Not any Hunter Dozier. Give me Matt Duffy over Hunter Dozier, even though neither one of them is probably going to be part of the future. But at least right now, they're scoring runs, and the games are close. The games are entertaining, like Thursday's games, 5-4. But they're averaging 5 runs a game. They're 12th in the majors in home runs over these last 25 games. They hit the ball hard. They're 8th in the majors in hitting the ball hard. And you got guys on base. They're stealing bases. They're entertaining. And that is something at least that I can get on board with watching this baseball team. The A's are the perfect example of why should you even remotely invest yourself in it. 1, they're bad. 2, they're not even entertaining. The Royals in their wins. Here are their wins in this stretch right now. 4-3, 5-4, 4-3, 9-1, 12-5, and 5-1. That's entertaining. It really, really is. That's an entertaining brand of baseball. A lot of runs, fun. Here's what the Royals have done in their losses. Remember, this is not a good baseball team. They are not good. The Royals have won, so far this year, 14 games. But here recently, their losses: 4-0, 9-6, 4-3, 5-1, 4-2. So of those 5 losses, only 2 of them they're not in it. When they lost 4-0 and got absolutely shut down, and then lost 5-1. But otherwise, you lose 9-6, 4-3, and 4-2. You're in the game. You know, to quote the great, Maximus Decimus Meridius from, the Felix Legions, Commander of the North, Gladiator, you know what I'm talking about, where he goes in and he slices and dices everybody, throws this sword up at the fans and says, "Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?" At least the Royals are entertaining during this stretch of baseball. I don't look at it and go, man, because the start of the season, it was not remotely entertaining. I mean, they're getting hammered in that stretch when they lost all those games in a row. They lost 10-3, 9-3, 5-4, one entertaining game, 4-0, 12-2, 12-3, and then 2-0. They weren't in any one of those games. So that's the reason why, at least this stretch of baseball for this specific Royals team right now is fun. It's entertaining. And the guys who are doing it are the guys that are going to be on the team competitive next year. This would be like, it would be a double whammy as if in, say, 2017, when everybody knew that the Royals were going to be moving on, if they sucked and weren't entertaining then, because all the people who are playing are not part of the future. They were entertaining because they went 81-81 that year, missed the playoffs by 5 games. So the reason the offense is clicking, and the reason why some of the pitching that is doing well right now, especially the bullpen, we're going to get to that more with Matt Lamar of Royals Review coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. So at least this team it's not a doormat anymore. And with the next 11 games, they can actually continue to be worth watching, worth your time, worth to be in, at least if there's something going on at the end of May where you're like, hey, coming up May 22nd, 23rd, 24th, the series against Detroit, and then the series against Washington, school's going to be out. And then you've got 2 games on the road in St. Louis, and then you've got 3 games at home against Colorado. So really, you've got now the 3 games against Colorado. That's 14 games. 14 games against bad teams. The White Sox, not in the cellar because the Royals are. Detroit, not great. But Washington, St. Louis, and Colorado, all in the cellar in their respective divisions. Should be some entertaining baseball. Maybe, take your kid out. Maybe we'll give away more Royals tickets so you can go to the K and have a good time. So that is something that's fun. Also saw something today that we knew the Royals have been bad for the last 25 years. We've known that. But this was put out by Codify Baseball. They are a analytics group when it comes to pitching, and they try to help out pitchers. It's kind of like a Driveline. We've talked about that a lot. And in the last 25 years, it says here, they put this out there. And I saw it right away, and it's a big tweet. So I had to click the see more to see all of the info, so I didn't see it right away. But it said wins since 1998. So 25 years. And it only had like the top 10 teams. And no surprise, since 1998, who's got the most wins? Well, it's the Yankees with 2,300 wins. Then it's got the Dodgers at 2,200 wins. Then the Cardinals at 2,200 wins. Then Boston at almost 2,200 wins. Then Atlanta with almost 200 wins, or 2,200 wins. And so then before I did anything, I was like, oh man, the Royals they're going to be near the bottom of this barrel. And I thought to myself, before I clicked on the see more, where you get all of the text in the tweet, just because I wanted to see where I thought the Royals would be. I knew the Royals were going to be near the bottom because Well, since 1998, the Royals have had 3 winning seasons essentially, and then 1 year where they went, 81 and 81. So I knew the Royals were going to be at the bottom. And I was like, all right, who else has been really crappy since 98? All right, the Pirates have been really bad. Miami, the Marlins have been bad outside of about 3 years. So those were the 3 franchises that I thought were going to be near the bottom. And then I said to myself, are the Royals at the bottom? Are they really the worst team when it comes to wins in the majors in the last 25 years? And I said, no, it's got to be the Pirates. Folks, it's the Royals. Since 1998, when you've got all of the expansion teams with the Rockies, with the Diamondbacks, with the Marlins, all that. Since 1998, the Royals are dead last in total wins. 1,745 wins in 25 years. Pittsburgh, I was correct, came in at number 2 or second to last. 40 more wins than the Royals. 40. Baltimore. I thought Baltimore was a lot better in the early 2000s. Apparently not. They're at 1,798 wins. So 53 wins more than the Royals. Then Miami. The Marlins of all teams have almost 100 more wins than the Royals. Even the Colorado Rockies have over 100 more wins than the Royals since 1998. At least the Royals do have a title because Pittsburgh doesn't, Baltimore doesn't, Detroit doesn't, Colorado doesn't. But man, the Royals are 40 wins less over the last 25 years than the Pirates. That is awful. That just, that tracks. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it. So that's to put a little damper on your mood today on this Friday. We do got a lot more to get to. Coming up, Mike Malone. I love it. The Nuggets starting out 2-0 in the division or in the Western Conference Finals. It's fantastic. We're gonna play you some audio from Mike Malone. We'll get to a little bit more of, is MVS truly underrated? We'll get to that. All of that coming up here on Mic'd Up. underrated. Really, really interesting things to think about when it comes to Marquez Valdez-Scantling. But do want to get to this. The Denver Nuggets are up 2-0 on the Lakers. I like the Denver Nuggets. I like Jokic. The Nuggets remind me of the Royals in 2014, where they've never been. Well, they had obviously, but it's been 30 years. But the Nuggets have never been to the finals. I like the Nuggets. I think it's fun. I think they are fun. Well, Mike Malone is the head coach of the Nuggets. Mike Malone had to say this yesterday after the Nuggets, who didn't play all that great in the game, but found a way to win. And now they're up 2-0. Here is what Mike Malone had to say about the game.
You win game one of the playoffs, and all everybody talked about was the Lakers. Let's be honest. That was a national narrative was, hey, the Lakers are fine. They're down 1-0, but they figured something out. No one talked about Nikola just had a historic performance. He's got 13 triple-doubles now, third all time. What he's doing is just incredible, but the narrative wasn't about the Nuggets. The narrative wasn't about Nikola. The narrative is about the Lakers and their adjustments. So, you put that in your pipe, you smoke it, and you come back, and we're going to go up 2-0.
Yeah, I love it. I love fiery Mike Malone because he's standing up for his team, and I get that. And he is right. The Nuggets were up by like 30, and then they made an adjustment, and the Nuggets only ended up winning by 5. But everybody's like, "Oh man, the Lakers are good. They're totally good. It's gonna be 1-1. The Lakers figured it out." And then they didn't, because the Nuggets won again. And they didn't play all that great. Jamal Murray played out of his mind. So I'm with Mike Malone there. It was more about, oh yeah, Jokic, who just had a 34, 20, and 12 game. No, it was all about, wow, they made a great comeback. No, Ron McHenry told me this, longtime coach for the Washburn women's basketball team. And I said, yeah, you had a great comeback, but it fell short. And his response was, it wasn't a comeback. Coming back means you have to come back and win. Great. Awesome. You made the loss a little bit closer. No, it's not a comeback. You still lost. The Nuggets are up 2-0. I think they're going to split the series. They're going to come back, and they're going to go to the finals for the first time. Go Nuggets. Coming up next, we're getting a little market update, and then we'll talk Chiefs and MBS. 12:35 here on this Friday. Thank you so much for joining us as we'll get to some more Royals baseball in an hour from right now. Matt Lamar of Royals Review will be joining us, talk about some positives for the Royals. We will also talk with Andy Weingarten about the Preakness there at Pimlico. And we will get you set for Royals baseball tonight. We will get to some Chiefs discussion as well. As always, let us know your thoughts on our text line, 785-272-9429. This is the time where the NFL really doesn't have as much excitement going on. But yesterday, the NFL Twitter handle at NFL put out Patrick Mahomes' top 20 plays of the year, and they did the best play in every game. So there were a couple plays where you would say, wow, that was really good by Mahomes in 2 games, but they went with every single game. The Chiefs played 20 games last year. 20 games. And they picked the best play that Mahomes had in every single game. And the first thing that jumps out to you is he's incredible. And I thought to myself, how many quarterbacks in the NFL in their career have 20 plays this good? Like, did the social media director, go up to one of the people he works for and says, hey, I need you to come up with Patrick Mahomes' best 20 plays? Did the guy go, like, ever this year? Because that's going to be hard to do. The 20 plays, one from each game. I don't know if there's another quarterback that has this many exciting plays where you just shake your head and go, oh, what the hell is that? So watching it, that's the first thing I think of. Then the next thing that I thought of going through all of these was how many involved Patrick Mahomes, running, how many was him scrambling, and then who is he throwing it to? So I thought, okay, I'm going to break that down. So charted every one of them. Against the Arizona Cardinals, the NFL picked the pass to Sky Moore on a crosser, and that was the one where Patrick Mahomes was rolling to his left, and he has to throw the ball backwards towards the middle of the field. It hit Sky Moore running in stride for a big game. It's pretty cool. Against the Chargers, drops back, has to kind of move in the pocket, steps up, and then that was that one-footed pass to Justin Watson where they scored the touchdown down the middle of the field where he torched J.C. Jackson. Everybody remembers that one. And then they go through, I'm going to highlight some of them. Do you remember the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game in which he drops back to pass? It was on the right side of the television screen going into the end zone. Rolls out, stops at the 3-yard line, spins, and then flips it to Clyde Edwards-Helaire for the touchdown. We all lost our proverbial minds on that one. A couple of other ones that you remembered that were pretty incredible. The Cincinnati scramble, 4th and goal from the 7, takes off, dives, puts the ball, barely crosses the goal line for the touchdown. Yep, that was exciting. I thought I'd see the little flip to Jerick McKinnon against Denver, and this just goes to show you how these were probably not all the top plays of the year because that one didn't make this list. The one where he rolls out, everybody comes in and he flipped it to Jerick McKinnon for the long touchdown. No, That was the one where he ran around in a circle in the pocket, steps up, gets smoked in the face, but threw a touchdown to a wide open Juju in the end zone. So charted all of these. Every one of them, all 20 plays. You can go to my Twitter handle if you want to see the video. Go to NFL's Twitter handle. It's fantastic. But then I said, wow, who did he make the throws to? Who did he make the throws to? Because these were the best plays of the game. And who is he throwing those to? The ones where you go, holy smokes. Well, I charted them. All right. Noah Gray had one. That was the one against the Tennessee Titans in overtime. Ended up rolling to his right, stopped, threw it back in the middle of the field. Noah Gray went up and caught it. So Noah Gray had one. McCole Hardman had one. A little crossing route to McCole, put it on a dime. Fantastic. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had one. Didn't really do a whole lot, but he kept on moving. That was the game against Tampa Bay. Sky Moore, he had one. That was cool. Very first game of the year. So he had 4 games in which he had one guy out of the 20 end up making the play. Then you had 3 games in which Justin Watson was the best play in that game. It was against the Raiders at the end of the year. Deep sideline throw to Watson on the out and up. And then actually the week before against the Broncos, tremendous play by Mahomes, dropped it in the bucket against the Broncos. That was on the road. And then, of course, that game against the Chargers. So Justin Watson, yes, that guy, Justin Watson had 3 of the biggest plays of the year this year, if you break them down by just 1 per game. Juju Smith-Schuster had 3 of those games. Mentioned the game against the Denver Broncos, in which Juju was the recipient of it. The other one, big-time play by Juju against the Buffalo Bills. Patrick Mahomes rolls to his right, still kind of rolling, throws it back, crosses his body back in the middle of the field. Juju catches it. The Bills try to tackle him. They don't. He spins out and runs down the sideline for a touchdown going into the north end zone. We remember that one. So Juju had three plays. The other one was against the Colts. Terrific play, fit it right between 2 guys. Nice play by Juju. So he had 3. So we were at Noah Gray with 1, Hardman with 1, Clyde Edwards-Helaire with 1 game, Sky Moore with 1, Justin Watson with 3, and Juju with 3. Well, Patrick Mahomes also scrambled 5 times for it, according to the NFL. Now, this is according to the NFL's Twitter people. 5 games, the best play that Mahomes had was a scramble. The Eagles game in the Super Bowl, his best play, long run at the end of the game, set up the game-winning field goal, all on that bad leg. Obvious, that was incredible. The Cincinnati Bengal game where he jumps up, puts the ball over the goal line on 4th and goal, incredible. The Chargers game, scrambles for 30 yards. That was the play that set up Travis Kelce, throwing a crossing route. Kelce goes into the end zone. Against the Texans, Chiefs are down, 4th quarter. He ends up scoring on a touchdown. So of the 20 games, 5 of them, the NFL thought that was the best play of that game, was a scramble by Mahomes. 5 of them. And then this is where I wonder if we are not giving Marquez Valdes-Scantling enough love, because he's made some huge plays. 5 times this year, and I need to say times, 5 games out of the 20, all right, We are talking 20% of the time this year, the best play in that game involved Marquez Valdez-Scantling. There is one play per game that the NFL Twitter people said this is the best play of the game from Patrick Mahomes. And on the receiving end of it, 5 out of the 20 was Marquez Valdez-Scantling. 2 more than Juju, 2 more than Watson, more than Sky Moore, more than Clyde, more than Hardman, more than Gray. The guy on the receiving end was MVS. And you're thinking, Jake, really? Are you serious? And the answer is yes. The 5 games in which they thought this was the best play that Mahomes made. Against the 49ers, 3rd down, close game. Mahomes drops back, looks to his left, and then sees MVS streaking down the field, chucks it to MVS. He had his guy beat, catches it, big time game. Chiefs end up scoring 2 plays later. Then they go to the Jags game in the regular season. 3rd and 10. Dropping back, throws it back shoulder, caught by MVS right before he goes out of bounds. Terrific play by MVS. The Rams game. Going up 3 scores. MVS catches it on a throw to the sidelines. Mahomes fits it in a tight window. MVS gets popped, catches it. 1st down. 3 plays later, they score a touchdown. So that's 3 games right there. Then we get to the playoffs. The Jaguars game. Mahomes' ankle hanging by a thread. 3rd down. Mahomes drops back. Can't find anybody. Steps up in the pocket. Throws a slant to MVS. Catches it. Touchdown. Chiefs retake the lead. That's 4 plays now that MVS has been involved in. And then his masterpiece, right? Marquez Valdez-Scantling's Mona Lisa. Okay. The Cincinnati Bengal AFC title game. 6 receptions, 116 yards. 3rd and 10. Mahomes on another bad ankle, drops back to pass. Doesn't have anything, steps up, sees MVS smack dab in the middle of the field. MVS is sitting on his keister. Mahomes drills it to him. He catches it. Touchdown. MVS, according to at least the NFL, had 5 games in which they viewed it as Mahomes' best play. MVS was on the receiving end. He's come up big. He makes the difficult play, but also makes kind of the boneheaded play and drops a wide open pass. I went through all 20 of them. All 20 plays. You can go look at it for yourself. It's very easy. Go to my Twitter page at Jake LeBon. Scroll down a little bit. You'll see it. But MVS ends up on the receiving end 5 times, more than Juju, more than Justin Watson. And you ready for this from the text line? But none with Kelsey. Come on. That surprised me as well. That stunned me as well. Now, this is a Patrick Mahomes play. This isn't Travis Kelce. They're looking at, what about Mahomes? So the one play that jumps out to me was the Travis Kelce run into the end zone for a touchdown against the Chargers. That was more on Travis Kelce than Mahomes. Kelce just runs a crossing route, and Mahomes puts it right on him. That's more on Travis Kelce than Mahomes. But this is what they came up with. So a part of me is thinking, man, the Chiefs fans and maybe the rest of the NFL need to back off on MVS a little bit. I thought that was I was floored because he kept showing up and I was like, man, MVS has been in this thing a long time. That's when I looked at him like, am I seeing something that I mistaked 5 times? That's where I'm not concerned about the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, what are they going to do at the wide receiver position? You got 15, you're going to be fine. Is 15 protected? He will be this year. They're going to be fine. None with Kelce. That also goes to show you just how the day-to-day, operations, if you will, how good Travis Kelce is. He makes it look so easy. Go to the Twitter page of the NFL, go to mine, watch it. It is 2 minutes, 20 plays. Not one of them will show Travis Kelce. And that's another reason why I was excited with Justin Watson getting re-signed. He's in 3 of these. That doesn't mean that, oh, wow, Justin Watson's going to overtake everybody. No, it just shows you that they spread him all out, and his running ability was what takes him to another level. In the pocket, Mahomes is excellent. He puts it on the money. The teardrop to Travis Kelce for the touchdown against the Eagles in the Super Bowl, just the perfect over-the-shoulder throw, right? The throw to Travis Kelce against the Chargers, right? Like, those are in the pocket, just darts. All of these plays are the ones that shake your head and go, holy cow. And they end up with guys like MVS and Watson and Sky Moore and Clyde and Hardman and Noah Gray. That's what makes this offense so difficult, is that you cannot just focus on Travis Kelce, because if you do, guess what? Gray will catch it. Moore will catch it. Watson will catch it 3 times. MVS is on the receiving end 5 times. I thought this was a fun exercise to look at, just to see how different and just how much depth matters at the wide receiver position. It really fun thing to follow. Coming up next, we are going to get a little PGA update. It is difficult at Oak Hill. We will get to that coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. Everyone loves lists. Today is National Pizza Party Day. National Pizza Party Day. Top things that you need in a pizza party. We're going to get to that. Plus, we'll talk with Matt Lamar of Royals Review. All that coming up here on Mic'd Up.
You'd rather be camping than waiting around for that phone call saying your RV is ready.
Mom, we are so high up.
they ended up upset. Personally, I think the 07 Patriots got no arguments. That's a really good team. The 2013 Seahawks, that defense was salty. They should be up there. But I am very, very disappointed to see the 09 Saints. Yeah, that ain't going to happen. The 2016 Patriots. Yeah, zero chance of that. The 04 Eagles, laughable. 2015 Panthers. That's the worst team on this list. I'm not scared of Brad Johnson and the Bucks. The 05 Steelers, yeah, not too worried about the 05 Steelers either. To me, the 19 Chiefs, were they even the best Chiefs team when it comes to Mahomes in the Mahomes era? So that is what got me thinking. First of all, I think the 2019 Chiefs, if you think that was the best Chiefs team in the Mahomes era, the 2019 Chiefs would beat the Bucks of 02, the Steelers of 05, the Panthers of 15, the Eagles of 04, the Patriots of 16, and the Saints of 09. The 2000s Ravens team, that defense was stupid. That, I think, could be interesting. The Seahawks of 13, because that defense was awesome. And the Patriots of 07. Like, at worst, the Chiefs of 2019 would be, to me, the fifth best team. That is how I would view that, if you think that. So, our good friend of the show, Eric Eager of Pro Football Focus, he voiced his opinion. And I think there's really only one, there's one aspect to me on where do you put him when it comes to these 5 seasons. And we are talking 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. So where do you rank those 5 seasons for the Kansas City Chiefs? To me, the easiest decision, the worst team of the 5 was the 2018 Kansas City Chiefs. That's the worst team. And I know the offense was a juggernaut, and I know it was incredible, but that 2018 defense was garbage. Bob Sutton led absolutely garbage team. That was a garbage defense. Awful. The worst unit of any one of those 5. If you would have ranked the 10 units, offense, defense for every single of these 5 years, the 2018 Chiefs defense is at the bottom. It's not even close. So that makes it easy. The 2018 Chiefs defense really made that team struggle. So I got the 2018 team number 5 in the last 5 years with Mahomes starting. So that was easy. So now we've got 19, 20, 21, and 22. And to me, the next easiest decision is that the 2021 Chiefs would be the 4th out of these 5 teams. I had the Chiefs. Now, in 2021, they were not as good as the 19 defense. The offense struggled at some times. They started out of the gate kind of poor, but the defense was better than that 18 team. So I went with the 2021 team as team number 4. So the top 3 teams for the Kansas City Chiefs, for me, would be either 2019, 2020, or 2022. So now I think all 3 of them are very difficult to decide, but I went with, to me. Now, the computers, They had the 2019 Chiefs. Now, maybe the 2020, 21, 22 were not involved in that. But to me, if I had to choose the best team under Patrick Mahomes from start to finish, it's the 2020 Kansas City Chiefs. I have them as the best team. So that's how I kind of figured out what I would order these. 2018 was last. They're number 5. 21 was 4. And then I think the 2020 team was the best. They did not win the Super Bowl. They went to the Super Bowl. They went 14-2 in the regular season. Would have been 15-1 if they would have played their starters at the end of the year, but they locked up the 1 seed so easily that they didn't have to play their starters against the Chargers, and they lost. They went 14-12, or 14-2. They would have crushed the Browns, except Mahomes got his bell rung, and that's when anything is possible. Chad Henne to Tyreek Hill, first round of the divisional game. And then they smoked the Bills in the playoff game. It just so happened that they ran out of offensive linemen and lost in the Super Bowl. But overall, to me, the 2020 Chiefs team was the best Chiefs team of the Mahomes era. Offense, defense, they went undefeated on the road. Patrick Mahomes was excellent in the key games of that year. So I had the 2020 team as the best. Then it comes down to which Super Bowl team was the second best. Was it this last year in 2022? Or was it the 2019 team? So, yeah, I have the best Chiefs team as the team that didn't win the Super Bowl. That was Mahomes' best team. That the offense, defense, everything. I'm going to put the 22 team at number 2. And the reason why is because I think depth everywhere, plus the way that the Chiefs were able to get it done in the postseason, I've got the 22 team slightly ahead of the 2019 team. So that is my order. Chiefs 2020, then 2022, this last year, winners of the Super Bowl, then 2019, when they beat the 49ers. And then the 2021 year, they lost to the Bengals. And then 2018, when they lost to the Patriots. That is my ranking of the Kansas City Chiefs teams these last 5 years, which means the third best year for the Kansas City Chiefs in the last 5 years. Not only did they win the Super Bowl, but the Kansas City Chiefs in 2019 ended the regular season 12-4 and won their last 9 games. Now, if you want to say the 2019 defense was better than this year's Chiefs defense, I can argue that. I can see that. Chiefs defense the last part of the year in 2019 was excellent. So if you wanted to put the 2019 team behind and be number 2, I can understand that. This year's Chiefs team at 22. At number 3, that's understandable. I think the 2020 season was the best Chiefs team, and they rolled through everybody that year. And that's the reason why the run it back year, the COVID year when they lost to the Bucs, it just was unfortunate at the end of the year. The Chiefs just ran out of offensive linemen. So that is the rankings that I've got. I'd be interested to know what you would think on what season and how you would rank them. I think everybody agrees that 2018 would be number 5 because that defense was just so bad. And I think 2021, that was the year with, what are they going to do? Mahomes has gotten figured out, all that kind of stuff. Maybe it is recency bias on how good this 2022 team was. And if you wanted to put, I think the closest is 19 and 22. If you wanted to put the 2019 team, because that defense was really good at the end of the year, I can understand that if you want to flip-flop that. But I do think the 2020 team was the best because they didn't have a ton of close games on the road, and they went 8-0 on the road. Their 2 losses were at home. That was the year in which they won in overtime against Los Angeles. They won on the road at Baltimore, in which they cooked Baltimore. Beat Tampa Bay in the regular season. Beat Buffalo. So I would lean towards the 2020 team overall as the best. And then I got 22, 19. Maybe I'd flip-flop it depending upon the day. But the worst season for Patrick Mahomes is the year that they were an offsides penalty away from going to the Super Bowl and then probably beating the Rams in the Super Bowl. That was their worst team. That's what's kind of crazy. You know, we just went through the Mahomes' top 20 plays. From the YouTube comments, I just watched the top 20 plays. I'm just, what the hell did I just watch? We are so damn lucky. Yes. I think Chiefs fans are already spoiled and already numb to what Mahomes has been able to do these last 5 years. Now, from the text line, someone does say 2018. I don't think there's any way 2018 isn't the worst year, let alone the best year. That defense was historically bad, so bad that Andy Reid had to fire his good friend Bob Sutton. If you have to fire your good friend, that's a problem. Chris Kleiman had to fire one of his best friends in Courtney Messingham at Kansas State. Can you imagine firing your best friend? So I think 2018 is the worst. I think that's the easiest decision. That's why I putting this list together. What was the easiest decisions? Well, it was 18, 21, and 20, and then 19 and 22 were kind of difficult. But outside of that, let us know. Hit us up on our text line, 785-272-9429, or you can check us out on our YouTube comments. Go to Sports on 580. Sports on 580 in YouTube. Click the subscribe button. It's really simple, really easy. Coming up next, it is National Pizza Party Day. Was there anything better when you were a kid than a pizza party? I think the only thing better when you were a kid than having your friends over for, a pizza party was the pool party. If you had a pool party, or you were lucky enough that one of your friends had a pool, or, you went to the local pool, the municipal pool, or, if you're a member of a country club, or if they had, a private pool, or if your area, I remember when I was in college, we had access, the apartment complex that I lived in had access to a pool. They did not like us when we were swimming there at like 2 a.m, but neither here nor there. The pizza party was epic as a kid. Coming up next, everyone loves the list, pizza party edition here on Mic'd Up.
Why? Just think about it. Why is the #1 selling brand of chainsaws not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot? We can give you over 10,000 reasons. That's how many authorized local steel dealers you can find across the country. Visit one and you'll find a range of dependable gas and battery-powered tools, from trimmers to blowers. And you'll find service from experienced professionals. Real steel. Find yours at steelusa.com. Lowe's and Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
Attention business owners. Stop throwing your hard-earned money away on rent. Imagine owning your own building and saving thousands every year. Sound impossible? Not if you use General Steel. General Steel can help you save thousands by owning your own custom design building. Just call 888-74-STEEL. That's 888-74-STEEL to see how much money you can save with General Steel. Our buildings come with a 50-year warranty, and thousands of companies, from Fortune 500 corporations to startups, have trusted the General with their building needs.
If you need to expand or start a new business, you really need General Steel.
A very impressive General Steel. Everyone's been extremely helpful. I'd recommend General Steel to anyone looking to build a steel building.
Stop wasting money on rent. Call 888-74-STEEL. That's 888-74-STEEL to find out about all our popular quick construction kits, including a 40 by 60 foot building or a 50 by 100 clear span building. Just call 888-747-8335 now. That's 888-74-STEEL.
For powerful HP tech your business can count on Staples. Staples has great prices on a full range of HP printers, PCs, laptops, and monitors. And now through May 27th, score an extra $50 off all HP laptops regularly priced $599.99 and above with the Staples Connect app. Plus, this week only, the HP OfficeJet 9015E wireless color inkjet printer is $70 off. For the best deals on the best HP tech for your small business, shop Staples. In-store only. Excludes Chromebooks and clearance.
You just made the list.
Top 3, top 10, top 5.
You just made the list.
Alrighty, it is, everyone loves the list today, and it is very simple, very easy. It is National Pizza Party Day today. Bradley J told me today, he said, Jake, what's your favorite parts of a pizza party? And I said, why? And he says, National Pizza Party Day. And I said, thank you for the list topic today. So, number 4, Evan, what do you got for your must-haves at a pizza party?
I'm definitely going to go with probably some kind of pizza cutter of some kind, maybe a creative type one, a little bit different from the regular. You know?
Okay, I'm all right with that. Number 4 for me, must-haves at a pizza party. You have to have, and this is a pizza party. This isn't like an adult party. You got to have multiple pops. I need Dr. Pepper. I need Mountain Dew. I need, especially Mountain Dew when you were a kid. If you didn't have Mountain Dew with your pizza party, you were lame. So I'm going to go with, you have to have multiple drink options at number 4. What do you got for number 3?
Let's see. Going down to number 3, I'm actually also at drinks as well, but I'm actually think I'm going to switch that out. We're going to go with a bunch of different, like, smaller pizza dishes to maybe let everybody make their own little pizza that you can
All righty.
Yeah.
Number 3 on my must-haves for a pizza party, you have to have, if we're going full on pizza party, you have to have a pizza dessert. Like if it's a full on pizza party, I want, the brownie pizza, or you got to have the one with the icing and all over, like a cinnamon roll pizza or something like that. You have to have some type of dessert.
Yeah, keeping it pizza themed.
Pizza themed. That's what I'm going to go with. Yeah. What do you got? Number 2?
Number 2. Of course, pizza themed decorations. Got to get the big streamers and everything of the red and yellow colors.
Okay. Number 2 for me when it comes to the pizza party, I need breadsticks, and more specifically, I need the cheese sticks. Okay. If you are the cheap person who's like, no, man, I ain't gonna spend the 50 cents extra for the cheese sticks. Come on. Cheese sticks over breadsticks any day of the week, and just completely miss me on if you're team breadstick. No, it is team cheese stick. Even my son, who's 3, agrees with me on that one. All right, number 1 thing you need to have at a pizza party is what?
I actually went with ice cream, also in the range of desserts, but I just think it pairs really well with all types of pizzas. So.
You need good pizza. That's the number 1 thing, and you need multiple options of pizza. I need multiple. I want supreme. I want hamburger. I want pepperoni. Instead of going with the large, go like the medium route and do a bunch of those. And don't have crappy pizza. Okay, get good. I think Domino's is terrible. Do not bring Domino's to my pizza party. Like, I will never have that. I don't think Domino's is any good. There are a couple others that I'm not a huge fans of, but you make sure you have a lot of different pizzas. And even some eclectic ones like a buffalo chicken or a Mexican type of pizza. That's number one, no questions asked.
Absolutely.
Coming up next, we are going to hear from Matt Lamar of Royals Review.
We're pretty active in the cattle futures today. We did see both two-sided trades, saw some midday weakness, had strength early at times, then we midday weakness. So once again, early
the final hour of Mic'd Up on this Friday. Thank you so much for joining us, as we do have Royals baseball tonight. 7:10 first pitch, 6:30 pregame coverage of the Royals taking on the Chicago White Sox. Zach Greinke on the bump. It's on the road. Normally that means Zach Greinke's not going to be good. But the White Sox aren't any good. So here's hoping that the Royals can start a good little stretch of ball. As always, let us know your thoughts. Hit us up on our text line, 785-272-9429. Check us out on YouTube. Go to youtube.com. Type in Sports on 580. Click on the subscribe tab. Very simple, very easy. You can check us out on our website, 580wwew.com. But right now, we're going to talk all things Preakness. That is right. The Preakness is tomorrow at Pimlico, and we are going to see if the Belmont is going to be worth tuning into. That is right, because if Mage wins the Preakness, Mage will have a chance at the Triple Crown. And to talk all things horse racing, he is our horse racing expert. He is Andy Weingarten joining us. Andy, how are you doing on this Friday?
Hey, it's another great day to doing just fine.
All righty, let's recap the Derby. Mage ends up winning it. Your thoughts on that one?
Well, my picks weren't bad. I finished third, fifth, and sixth.
Yeah,
out of 18 horses, that's okay. Felt pretty good about it when my pick was kind of flying at the end, but couldn't catch everybody. Just fell a little too far behind, so finished third, but that's okay. And the other two were just kind of in the middle of the pack the whole way and finished fifth and sixth. It was a clean race, so that was good. And Mage was the best horse that day. The best horse of what apparently is a very suspect crop of 3-year-olds. There's no super horse out there. The time was okay. Nothing special. It was 2:02, I believe, so nowhere near Secretariat's pace. But it was a pretty easy race for that horse. Mage got a good spot on the rail early, swung wide at the back stretch, had a wide open stretch run, and outran everybody, and won the Derby. Kind of a surprise. Not one of the longest shots, but kind of a middle, about 6th or 7th choice, and that's who won it.
You were correct on that. He's the kind of the closer. It came on strong, didn't really lead it early on. And the reason I bring that together is the Preakness, for those of you who don't know, it's the shortest distance of the three. The Kentucky Derby is 1.25 miles. The Belmont is 1.5 miles, and the Preakness is 1 3/16 miles. So a difference of 1.25 miles to 1 3/16 miles. So it's the shortest. So when it comes to this race, does this race set up well for Mage? Because he led most of the end of the down the stretch, if you will. Now, maybe if it was the Belmont, he would have gotten caught by your horse in that situation, because I believe, your horse ended up finishing third. And if it was another, 20 yards, I think he might have gotten caught. So does this set up well for Mage?
Well, it sets up well, but maybe not for the reasons people would think. Really, it sets up well for him for a couple of reasons. Number one, there's only 7 horses in the race. You're not dealing with traffic, and there's not 18 horses. There's only 7. And there's not a single horse that ran in the Derby other than Mage that is coming to the Preakness, which just continues my assertion that there are major problems with the Triple Crown that have got to be addressed. I mean, this will be the first time in 75 years that not a single horse other than the Derby winner goes from the Derby to the Preakness.
Whoa.
Why are the other 17 sitting it out? Is it because this is a spectacular horse? No, I don't think that's it. I think they're sitting it out because of the timing of the race. nobody runs 2 weeks apart anymore. If you look at all the other horses in this race, the other 6 horses have had a minimum of 4 weeks rest. Minimum. Some have had more. Mage will only have 2 weeks. And I think they've got to address that. I've said all along that what needs to happen, make the Derby the first Saturday in May, make the Preakness either Memorial Day weekend or the first Saturday in June, and make the Belmont the first Saturday in July. They've got to change it. And until they do, you're not going to have all these horses coming from one race to another. But having said that, since there's only 7 horses in the field, it sets up well for him. And the fact that there's a number of other closers in the race probably sets up well for him, because he's probably the best of the bunch of the closers that are entered.
So how big of a deal is the rest here? With Mage only having 2 weeks off, how big of a deal is that in terms of, equine?
I think it's huge. I think it's a huge difference. Maybe not so much because 2 weeks isn't enough time, but you're not used to it. Like I said, none of these horses ever run, and never will again run within 2 weeks of each other. Used to be done all the time. I mean, sometimes they would run a week apart. But for many, many years, and throughout the Derby prep season leading up to the Derby, nobody runs a horse in a 2 week period. They're always taking 3, 4, 5 weeks off. And so I think it's a huge disadvantage for him. Now when there were other Derby horses coming in, then, they all had the same disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
But you've had over the last several years, a number of Preakness winners have been horses that have not run in the Kentucky Derby. And I think rest is a big reason why.
And it kind of makes me wonder, all of those Derby horses, are they just saying, look, we're not going to race our horse after 2 weeks. We'll wait for the Belmont and we can try to get 2 paydays instead of one. Like the horse that you picked to win it, the Derby, I'm forgetting Angel. No, what was it?
Angel of Empire.
Yeah, Angel of Empire. Like, I'm assuming he's gonna run in the Belmont, and so they're like, "Yep, we'll race in 2 of the 3 to try to maximize our payout."
I think a lot of them will do that. I think several of those horses are pointing for the Belmont, but I think it goes back to the lack of rest when you've never run within 2 weeks of each other, and the only reason Mage is going to run is because he won the Derby and he's the only horse that has a shot at the Triple Crown. Now, I don't think they'd run the horse if he wasn't sound, but he's the only one that's going to do that. And that's been the trend in recent years. Most Derby horses, if they don't win the Derby, don't come back for the Preakness. And that's why I think they've got to change it. If you give them 4 weeks apart, which is what they typically take between races, 3 to 4 weeks, I think you'll get a lot more Derby horses and a lot more quality horses running in the Preakness. Otherwise, they're just going to take the 5 weeks off between the Derby and the Belmont and get ready for it.
We're talking with Andy Weingarten, our horse racing expert, and let's discuss that, because to me, there's only one reason why that you wouldn't stretch them out, and do exactly like you said. Derby the first weekend of May, Memorial Day for the Preakness or first weekend of June, and then the first weekend in July. Makes perfect sense, except for one thing. People love history. If you do that, and I'm not agreeing with you or disagreeing with you, and I'm just going through the thought process here when you ask that, to me it just seems like, I wonder how many people will say, no, we can't do that, because then every single Triple Crown from 2023 since the very beginning, you can't compare them. That's the whole thing about, baseball and 162 games compared to 154, or now in football with 18 games. It's different when it comes to stats, and in baseball, and stats are so big. I feel like horse racing and the consistency makes you able to compare, Justified to Affirmed, or Justified to Seattle Slew, or the horses, hey, look, Silver Charm couldn't get it done when it was this way, but if it was this new way, would he have gotten it done? How big of a deal is that? Like the only thing keeping them from changing the dates?
I really don't know. My guess is the main thing that's keeping them from changing it would be television in some fashion. And I'm trying to think offhand, what's going on. Either Memorial Day weekend is the Indy 500. Maybe they don't want to run against that. Well, that's on Sunday, so that wouldn't be an issue. I mean, ultimately, television probably is going to dictate this. Somebody at some point, television is going to come in and say, "Hey, we're going to offer these races X millions of dollars, and to do that, you're going to run them when we want you to." I've said all along that the Derby eventually is going to go to prime time. It hasn't done it yet, but it's getting closer every year. They didn't actually post time 2 weeks ago was almost 7 o'clock. So they're getting closer and closer. Back in the day, it was 5:30. Now it's almost 7 o'clock. So it's going to go to prime time eventually. Probably all the Triple Crown races will. But you kind of made the argument for me with some of the other sports. I mean, how does baseball work now when you've got to go through several rounds of playoffs? Where back in the day, you only had the National League pennant and one round there, and then the World Series. Football has more games. They have off weeks, which they didn't used to have. The NBA, the players half the time, don't play.
Yeah.
They want to take a day off, so they take a day off. All sports have changed. So why not the Triple Crown? I don't see that. The tradition is something. It's part of it. I don't see that as the big reason. And again, I think when TV comes up and says, this is what we want, they're going to say, okay, we'll do it. It's going to happen eventually.
So who's the one who started this trend of not running after 2 weeks? Because that's what they've always done. Is it the money aspect of it? Is someone, who finished second in the Derby? It's like, I'm not going to run in the Preakness because then if you run in the Preakness, you're not running in the Belmont. Is this all money driven instead of horse driven? Is it the health of the horse? What's the reason why that they've just changed things in the last, it's been really about the last 5 or 6 years?
Well, I'll tell you the biggest change that happened back up until a few years ago, and I can't remember who it was. I think it was Visa, the credit card company, had it. They had a point system where you may not win the Triple Crown, but if you accumulated the most points in the 3 Triple Crown races, you got a $5 million bonus. That went away about 6 or 7 years ago. So yeah, that's a big reason why. Even though they increased the purses for the races, because I believe at the time the Derby was a $1 million race, now it's a $3 million race. So they increased the purses, but they didn't increase it by enough to account for that $5 million bonus that these horses would get. It was something like that. Maybe I think what it was $5 million if you won the Triple Crown, and it was $1 million if you accumulated the most points. But that point system is not there anymore. So I think that's part of it. And again, I think if you don't have the chance for the Triple Crown, why run the horse out of its ordinary time frame, which is always 3 to 4 weeks? If you look back, and that's always been the case with the races leading up to the Derby, they always run them. Most of these horses only run 3 or 4 times leading up to the Derby. So on average, they're running about every 4 weeks. They'll run in January, once February, once in March, and maybe once early in April. At the most, and some of them don't even run that much. So I think that's the biggest thing. And the horses are bred more for speed now. Most of the horses are not these come-from-behind horses, and so it's harder on them. So the trainers think they need more time between races, and so that's what they do. They take more time off.
Huh. We're talking with Andy Weingarten. You're getting the basically the college tuition of horse racing right now. So this is fantastic, Andy. Thank you so much.
Sure.
All right. Why 7 horses, or 8 technically, First Mission, who was the second favorite in this running of the Preakness tomorrow, which will be a 6 o'clock post time on NBC. Why only 8 horses? How come there's not more horses that run in the Preakness? Is that a Preakness decision? Is that a, no one wants to run in it decision? Why just 8 horses and now 7? Because one of them has been scratched, and how come they don't fill in that spot?
Well, a couple of reasons. It's not really a Preakness decision because I believe they can run up to 14 horses, and it's happened before. But to be eligible to run in the Preakness, you have to put some money up front early in the year. You kind of apply for these races. Same thing happens for the Derby. Now, literally hundreds of horses will put the money up for the Derby because everybody wants their shot, knowing after that there's only going to be one winner. Not as many put the money up for the Preakness. Well, if you don't put the money up initially, you have to do, and one of the horses has done this, you have to put up $150,000 after, and I think it's March 15th or March 31st, whatever the date is. You then have to put up $150,000 extra to be eligible to run in the Preakness, which one of the horses has done. Because they think, based on what they've done here lately, I guess they feel they have a shot to do that. So again, it's kind of a money thing. They are limited, where the Derby you can go up to 20, you're limited to 14. But most of these horses just, it's again, I think it's a timing thing. It's just not run at the right time. There's other races a little bit later in the summer and spring that are a little more favorable to some of these horses, and that's why.
All righty, let's get to it. When it comes to the Preakness, it's a shorter race, so a little bit quicker. Who do you have finishing third? Who is your show horse?
Okay, I wanted to find what I thought would be the best long shot in the field, and I went with the 6-horse Perform. That's the horse that put up the owners who put up $150,000 extra to run in the race. They recently won a race at Pimlico 3 weeks ago, and I guess liked what they saw, and so they put up the money. And the decent long shot, you really can't separate too many of these horses. They all seem about the same, other than Mage. And so I went with Perform for a decent long shot to finish third.
Yeah, he is right now at 15-1 when it comes to the odds thus far. There's really only one really long shot. That's Chase the Chaos right now at 50-1. All righty, so you got Perform to show. Who do you have to place?
I just couldn't make him the winner, so I put him in second place. I think the 2 weeks is really going to hurt Mage. I think Mage is the best horse of these 7. He certainly has run the best in the big races. But there are a couple of them that were not too far behind in some of the prep races. But I just don't feel that this horse is good enough to go all the way. He's going to go off at probably even money, if not less. He's 8-5 right now. They'll bet him down lower than that, probably to even money. I just don't think he's good enough to win it, so I put Mage second.
All right. All righty. Who the Belmont is cheering for Mage? Oh my goodness, so much. They want Mage to win so bad, because if they do, I would love to see the years in which there is a Triple Crown chance, like a Justified or an American Pharaoh, compared to, let's say, if Mage doesn't win, how many people watch? I think it'd be fascinating to see that. So who do you have winning the Preakness?
I'm with you. I want Mage to win, almost to the point where I predicted it to win, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I think because this is a little bit more of a speed race, this is going to be a horse that could very possibly win wire to wire. There's only 2 speed horses in the race. One is Chase the Chaos, which is the longest shot in the field, and I just don't see it. The other one is National Treasure, gets the post position 1, should have no problem going near the front. And you got Bob Baffert coming back. He couldn't run a horse in the Derby because Churchill Downs was suspended him, but he's free to run in the Preakness. He's got a horse. He's got John Velasquez as his jockey. The horse was 4th in the Santa Anita Derby, was a pretty solid horse. I like National Treasure to be virtually a wire-to-wire winner and wins it, with Mage coming up at the end, but coming up a little short.
So we'll see if he can finish down the stretch. Well, it should be a lot of fun. I enjoy the Preakness. The one story that I have about the Preakness is I was in Vegas one weekend, and it was Animal Kingdom won the Derby, and we were in Vegas, me and a bunch of my buddies, and it just so happened to be the Preakness weekend, and so we went to the Caesars sports book, and I've never seen that many people in a sports book before. Oh my goodness, there were so many people there. And we were like, well, we got to bet on some horses. And one of my buddies put down $100 on on Shackelford to win the Preakness. Shackelford ended up winning. He ended up out-nosing Animal Kingdom right at the end. And I can tell you, Andy, you never saw 5 24-year-olds so happy their entire life.
Probably paid for the rest of the weekend, didn't it?
It paid for a lot of fun the rest of that weekend in Vegas. I can tell you that. So the Preakness has a special place in my heart, and so does the horse Shackelford as well. Andy, thank you.
See why.
Andy, thank you so much. I will be looking at this one 6:00 Central Time, 7:00 Eastern Time. National Treasure, folks. Andy Weingarten told you to bet National Treasure Mage and then perform. Andy, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Okay, my pleasure. Hopefully we'll talk to you in 3 weeks.
That is Andy Weingarten, does a fantastic job. I love talking to Andy every Triple Crown race. And if Mage does win, then we will bring Andy back on for the Belmont to talk about what would be the third Triple Crown winner in essentially 10 years. We had 2 Triple Crown winners since then. American Pharaoh and Justified have won the Triple Crown here. And of course, there was a long stretch of no winners. They had to go back all the way to 1978. You had 77 and 78. Seattle Slew and then Affirmed. And then nobody won it until 2015. American Pharaoh. And then Justify won it in 2018. So there you go. Little horse racing news for you if you want to wager this weekend. Coming up next, a little on second thought where we have our, we want to do our redo. We will get to that. And then we will discuss something that kind of is starting to brew there in Kansas City involving the Royals and their new stadium. That's coming up next here on Mic'd Up.
Anaplasmosis is a disease that's all too familiar. This costly cattle disease is spread by ticks.
Kansas City area. We've talked about this a lot with the Kansas City Royals and them wanting to move downtown. They're wanting $1 billion in taxpayer money. And the thought is, hey, this will help your area out. All while you spend your money, and I'm going to make money off of your money. The only reason you would vote no, the only reason that a city would vote yes to the taxpayer money is if you were afraid that they would relocate somewhere else. That's it. The Raiders, the A's, the Rams. The Rams are a perfect point. Stan Kroenke owned the Rams. They would not pay for a new stadium for the Rams, so he moved the team to LA. The Raiders, they moved to Vegas because they thought it would make Mark Davis a lot more money. And honestly, that was the money-wise the correct choice because the Raiders sell out every single weekend. That was pretty smart. Now, the A's are going to try to do the same thing. I don't think that a billionaire should get a tax break because he's a billionaire. You need to take out a loan? Take out a loan. You've got a investment group led by John Sherman. You want to build a $2 billion stadium? You put your own damn money up. Just like I put my own money up for a house, you should have to put up your own money for a stadium. So the Royals are wanting to move downtown. They've had a lot of town hall meetings, all that. They think, hey, things are going well. It's not up for a vote yet. It'll be a yes vote or a no vote. But something interesting happening today. And this is where the I don't want to call it shady because this is business, okay? Some people won't like it. Some people are going to say, wow, that's really not acting in the right way. You don't do that. But it's business. It's kind of like right now in Kansas City, what's happened to the Big 12. Oklahoma and Texas are saying, yeah, hey, we're happy. All the while in the back, they're moving to the SEC. Was it shady? 1,000%. Backstabbing? 100%. Was the right move for Oklahoma and Texas? Money-wise? Yes. Definitely was. Will it work out in the end? We will see. So here's the latest. This is from a tweet from Bryant DeLong. He is the mayor of North Kansas City. For those of you who don't know, North Kansas City is north of the river. All right. Chicken and Pickle in Kansas City. I don't know if anybody's ever been in the has been up there. Chicken and Pickle, North KC. They got a couple of chicken and pickles up there where you can eat and you can play pickleball. They got one in Overland Park. So pickleball really starting to, take over, if you will. So this is North Kansas City, just north of the river, kind of north of Bally's Casino, the riverfront kind of where the Kansas City Currents Stadium is going to be. But this is from the mayor, Bryant DeLong, Jerry Nolte, Clay County presiding commissioner, May 19th, 2023. And it's titled An Open Letter to the Kansas City Area Community. And it says this. Over the past few months, leaders from Clay County and the city of North Kansas City have had conversations with the Kansas City Royals about the possibility of developing a new baseball stadium and adjacent ballpark district in North Kansas City. This plan would include commercial, residential development, and an entertainment experience adjacent to the stadium, complementing the amazing businesses and entertainment options that already exist in downtown North Kansas City. We look forward to continuing our work with the Royals and have additional meetings scheduled with them. The Royals confirmed in a recent media report that they are considering a location in North Kansas City. We think it is important we communicate our efforts with the community and the reason we plan to work with the Royals on behalf of our representative jurisdictions to select a North Kansas City site for the planned new stadium. Although no agreement has been reached by either Clay County or North Kansas City to take action on, we are striving to lay the groundwork necessary for a plan that is positive for North Kansas City, the county, and our entire community. To date, plans and communications plans and communications have been positive and resulted in an ongoing dialogue that could create a neighborhood-centric ballpark similar to Wrigley Field and the surrounding Wrigleyville in Chicago. Our objective is to create a place where fans and visitors to the Northland can enjoy best-in-class sports experiences and live work play in a thriving and safe urban ballpark neighborhood. A development that will take our city and region to the next level and allow Kansas City to compete head-to-head with cities like Nashville and Dallas for employers and talent, furthering the growth of the fifth largest county in our state. All of this can be had while still viewing and being seconds away from downtown Kansas City. We believe the benefits of this will bring Clay County and North Kansas City public support from the Northland. The Royals have made clear to us the logic behind their desire to move, and it is compelling. The Royals' vision is to develop a ballpark and district around and will deliver positive community impact and economic activity 365 days a year, ensuring their competitiveness with MLB peer markets nationwide. We simply believe, therefore, that if a move is to be, then there is no reason why it can't be to Clay County. As we continue to move forward, our intention is to present to our legislative bodies and our citizens the best possible plan. We are committed to that goal. We will continue to communicate with our partners, community stakeholders, and the citizens of Clay County as these discussions mature. We know there are a lot of questions to answer, and we will do our best to share details as they become available. Jackson County and downtown Kansas City now has competition. And some of you will say, man, this is some shady stuff. If you go by, well, Jackson County's been talking to the Royals and they want to put it near downtown. They want to put it near the interstate. They want to put it near, the T-Mobile Center. I wonder if this isn't the pushback on a potential no vote to get your stadium, at least half of it paid for with $1 billion in taxpayer money. What is interesting is the Royals are playing two counties against each other. They are playing Jackson County and Clay County. Clay County, what is called the Northland, if you've ever been up there, just north of the river, says, yeah, bring the Royals here. Put your whole entertainment district So now, if you are in Jackson County, if you are a taxpayer, or if you want the Royals to stay in Jackson County, this is, I think, a way that the Royals are trying to sway the political leaders of Jackson County to tell their citizens, please vote so we keep the Royals in Jackson County. The Royals are doing it smart by saying, hey, we'll go up to the Northland. Still Kansas City. Nowhere in this letter does it say taxpayer money. Not a single spot does it say, yeah, you're going to have to pay taxes on this stadium. That's what this all comes down to. Is this a move in which John Sherman says, I don't know if I can get a yes vote in Jackson County. Maybe I can get it in Clay County. That's all this is. Because personally, I don't care where they play. I don't live in Kansas City. We live in Topeka. It ain't going to affect me none. I just want to make sure that the Royals aren't leaving to go to Portland or Nashville or Charlotte or Montreal. And I don't think they are. And the reason being is John Sherman is a Kansas City native. You don't buy your native team to move it. I'd call that bluff. But is this, will the taxpayers of Clay County say, yeah, we'll foot the bill. We'll pay for it. We'll pay for half. Sure. Come on up to the Northland. I don't think the Royals want to go to the Northland. I don't. I think they want to go right downtown. They want to go next to the Sprint Center or the T-Mobile Center. That's where they want to go. This is a business angle that the Royals and John Sherman are trying to do to get the yes vote there so they can move it downtown and have it downtown. Some will say, Jake, who really cares? It's downtown North Kansas City. And if you look at it, I'm going to tell you this real quick. It would be where the old bowling alley was in North Kansas City. From the Chicken and Pickle to, let's say, the T-Mobile Center. How far of a drive is that? It's 7 minutes. Some people will say, who really cares? It's still going to be downtown. It's a 7-minute drive across the river from where it would be located to the T-Mobile Center. Not that far. Just across the river, essentially. Location does matter. And I still think the Royals want to be in downtown Kansas City, not North Kansas City downtown. But here is what Mayor Quentin Lucas tweeted out today. Kansas City and Jackson County have been strong partners for the Kansas City Royals since the team's inception. Taxpayers from both jurisdictions have invested mightily in the success of the Kansas City Royals franchise. Having already signed onto a border war truce with our Kansas neighbors, Kansas City will not now engage in an intrastate regional race to the bottom that ultimately does little more than fleecing our taxpayers. We encourage the Royals to timely resolve the many questions surrounding their future home so that all involved can speak openly and transparently on any future public involvement. That is somebody saying, hey, I'm going to need you to, I'm going to need you to be a little bit more open. I'm going to need you to be a little bit more truthful. So you can tell this is starting to get a little bit dicey. starting to get a little bit chippy between the Royals and Jackson County, and now Clay County. I think the Royals want to be in downtown Kansas City, but only if they get the taxpayer money. If the Royals are going to go to Clay County and they're going to pay for everything on their own dime, I don't care where they go. And Mayor Quentin Lucas, anybody in Jackson County, anybody in Clay County, it doesn't matter. If the Royals are footing the entire bill, it doesn't matter where they go. The other one is just going to have to deal with it. If the Royals are going to foot the bill in North Kansas City, then Mayor Quentin Lucas and the rest of Jackson County and the people downtown and all those businesses and all of that, tough. They're spending their own money. But this now just got turned up to a much higher, DEFCON, if you will, when it comes to the Royals and where they're going to go. This location has been talked about before, but never this strong of a stance coming from the mayor and the county commissioner from Clay County, just in North Kansas City. If you're a business right now in downtown Kansas City, maybe you're a little upset that they're not going to build it in Kansas City. It is just a 7-minute drive. A whole new bag of worms has just opened up with the Kansas City Royals on where they're going to play. Is this a move just to try to get taxpayer money? Is this something that the Royals are going to ask the Clay County taxpayers to do? I would assume so. Most owners don't pay for their own stadium anymore full go. That just doesn't happen. So this has gotten a lot more interesting for the Kansas City Royals, and it has nothing to do with their crappy baseball team. Interesting. I don't think it's much of a difference. It doesn't affect us a whole lot. You want it to be downtown Kansas City? You want it to be North Kansas City? Doesn't affect us hardly at all. Maybe the people in North Kansas City are like, yeah, we'll pay for it. You bet. Bring on the Royals. And John Sherman gets his $1 billion. Jackson County might actually prefer that, because then when the Chiefs want money, hey, you're not paying for two different stadiums. Coming up next, we'll wrap things up with the mic drop.
John Deere compact utility tractors are great for landscaping, maintaining your property, and other outdoor projects. And with a pallet fork attachment, those tasks are easier and more efficient. Right now,